Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Creators Outlet. Joining us tonight is our special guest, Mr. Stone Abdullah. Welcome to the show, sir, with a better voice than mine.
Thank you so very kindly, sir, for bringing me on the podcast show. And every day I would just roll out of bed and I have this voice. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with it? And then I keep going because the existentialism just never stops.
Not at all.
Thank you for bringing me on. It's a pleasure.
Well, thanks for coming on. And of course, we're part of the NSC Roadshow podcast tour. So you're going to be making your way all around the globe on all different podcasts, letting everybody know about your new book, Journey of the Shadow, Darkness Falls.
Darkness Falls. Coming this fall. My God, I'm unbelievably excited that I've been given this opportunity to share my book, this story, my ideas with so many people. And Journey to the Shadow, my goodness, man, it's been one hell of a ride. It survived years of me working in industry, decades of academia, and federal jobs and stuff like that. I'm so grateful that now I've got an opportunity to say, you know what, let's put all this time, work, and effort into this story, and let's share this with a whole bunch of people, especially nowadays, and give them some new life, rejuvenate them, give them some new ideas, make them curious about the world again, that sort of thing. I sound all Bob Ross-ish, but I watched a lot of Bob Ross, okay, and I still watch Bob Ross. This is your world. You make it what you want it, right? But
I'm just figuring out your cosmic shirt is a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, can you guys see it? There you go. It's the derivative.
It's the equation.
Derivative. Yeah, there it is. Force equals mass over derivative of the vector over the derivative of time. So velocity over the derivative of time. Force. May the force be with you. So, hey.
Okay. I'll take the later part of that because I have no idea what the hell you just said. So. I went to college too, but I'm pretty sure I majored in alcoholism. So,
but
stick with what you're good at. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. There you go, brother. You got to wear that. You got to wear that belt. You got to get that bronze medal.
I think they let me graduate just to get me out of the buildings.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here to share with us, my friend. And again, thank you for having me on this show.
Oh, it's great to have you on the show because I was looking at your website, which is in the chat as well as the link to the Kickstarter. And it is journeyoftheshadow.com. And I was just reading some stuff about you, and you've got a little bit of stuff going on. Yeah, really. I'm like, you graduated from Jackson State University with a bachelor's degree in Earth System Science, and you left your Ph.D. in large-scale data analytics to pursue a literary career.
Yeah, I did. I testified today. I dropped all that. I was just like, fuck that. Let's go for it. Let's work for my ideas instead of, it's nice, you know what I mean, to say, well, I got this title there, and and you've got that title over here. But my goodness, what is it bringing back to you as an individual? Is it uplifting your life? Is it motivating you to get out of bed and then continue to do it? Or is it bringing you one step closer to the grave here? You know what I mean? Like, is it bringing you one step closer to the grave in your heart? And my friend, there comes a point in your life where you just have to make an executive decision that it's not, I hate to get preachy, it's just at the beginning of the fucking podcast, but you have to make an executive decision about what's beneficial for the human condition. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at all this. Everyone's chasing a freaking dollar just to impress somebody else. But my God, what happened to sharing memories and embracing the gifts that we've been given on this earth? What happened to that? I'm like, well, shit, can't I do that for myself? And who's to say that I can't do that for myself? You know what I mean? So
I think we should go back to some older tech too, to make the children suffer. Like having to wait 2 weeks in the mail for photographs to come back to your house.
Hey, man, let's do it. I'm down. Can we go to change.org and put a petition up there, and we can, because that's how things get done.
If we went back, got rid of cell phones, and only had landline routery phones.
Oof. Wow. I think you're killing them now.
Manual transmissions in cursive writing.
In cursive writing.
The adults would rule the world again.
It would be a revolution unlike anybody has seen before. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be amazing?
You could make it happen. You could make it happen. Hell, you worked at NASA.
I did. I had a couple of stints during my academic days at NASA. My God, Stennis Lab, and I also had a stint with the United States Department of Agriculture out there in Iowa. They were doing some. They do a lot of things in Iowa. Some stuff I'm not going to mention on the podcast, but with respect to United States Department of Agriculture, it was just me and soil sciences. I swear to God. Okay, so FBI, don't you be watching me, soil sciences. Okay, that's what we're doing. But then all throughout that time, I'm still fascinated. I suppose this is a lead-in for my origin story. Fascinated by physical sciences. Well, my gosh, I don't know. It's something happened, something clicked in my brain a long time ago. My mom was reading some books to me, and about weather, and then it started from there. And you're staring at the sky like a crazy kid, trying to figure out how the hell did that cloud grow so fast and why. So then that's what motivated me to go to college. But at the same time, this sci-fi stuff is kicking in, right? Star Trek, Star Wars, man. I used to watch Space Odyssey 3000. I think that was right. And then they had that something theater 3000.
Oh that one with the bad B movie.
Mysteries.
Mystery Science Theater.
Mystery Science Theater. Yeah. And so to me, it was really cool. And a big fan of Twilight Zone. Rod Sterling, I believe, his form of storytelling, the old school Outer Limits, Alfred Hitchcock. My goodness, I was all about it. All of this is transpiring as my interest in science was building. And at some point after, I discovered anime, okay, somebody, down the line, they're going to hear about it or they'll see some show. And a lot of the classics, if you guys can see here, there's a poster, 1992 from Pioneer, rest in peace, Pioneer. That's a show called Tenchi Muyo. And if you can see my computer screen, that's my original character. Her name's Goddess Evelyn. But the wall scroll that's one of the animes that I've watched alongside Outlaw Star. My God, Gundam Wing, Cowboy Bebop, you name it. So a lot of the old
Dirty
classics.
Pair.
So yeah, yes, Lupin the Third. Oof, who else? Ranma One Half, Hunter X Hunter. We can keep
Ninja
going down the line.
Scroll.
Ninja Scroll, Fist of the North Star,
Akira.
Thundercats. So yes, all of those was just. I'm like, man, and suddenly, somewhere down the line, there was an interest that intersected and said, what if I could combine what I'm learning about all this, real world stuff in school and whatever, and what if I tried to make my own sci-fi story? Bang. That thought happened somewhere in the year 2000. Okay. So, at that time, we didn't have a computer per se. We had this thing called Web TV. If you guys are familiar with it, it came from Microsoft. You throw it on a satellite dish. You had, dial-up internet, dial-up. None of you kids are going to know about dial-up. You're not going to know about DSL. So don't, and it's not the DSL you think it is. Kids stay in school. Kids fucking stay in school. But then I started composing stuff on note, on the pieces of paper, because my mom, my dad, they homeschooled myself and my two older sisters. So when the schoolwork was done, these ideas would flourish. And now I'm writing down shit on paper. And I kept up with those notes. And where the heck is it? Oh, if you provide me a moment, just a second. Oh, in an intermission, this is the notebook. This is the notebook about, oh man, I think it's about 21 years old. And this thing has the original prototype, baby version of all of Journey of the Shadow. I mean, that's the origin of where it all got started within my, schoolwork and then my ideas. So my creativity was blossoming alongside my logic brain. But again, what was my goal in storytelling? What sort of story did I want to tell? Well, hey, you're motivated by life. You run into a whole bunch of different people, right? People have different, personalities, and they favor certain things, and it's a finite, but there's a large set of people on the earth. So you have a finite set of possibilities. Here I go talking like a scientist. But out of those possibilities, you can make an abstraction from that. You could, disproportionately overblow someone's, personality that you met at a Walmart one day, just out of the blue. You never know who's going to be on your story. They don't necessarily have to be the name of that person, but something out of that encounter inspired you to say, well, why don't we blend that in with this particular character? And it just kept going from there. And I found myself, even though I was going to school, started college, it was still happening. I'm still doing homework and, submitting the stuff, on online assignments and all that other bullshit. And I'm still finding time to write out some portions. I just found time to write. And I think probably volumes 1, Journey of the Shadow Volume 1, which is published on Amazon, and that came out on August 28th, 2017. That manuscript alone is like the origin of all 4 books. And the first manuscript took about 16 years to coalesce, I want to say. Guilty, 16 years, because there's a lot of shit happening, right? Mm-hmm. But I never quit. I never stopped. I always went back to it because I wanted to tell this story. And so I think the volume 1 and what we're seeing now, Darkness Falls, they were blended together. But then I found how to separate, them into a sequel somewhere in 2009. And, long story short, 2016, my sister, she's a veteran RN. She finally, got in my ass. She said, I'm sick of you sitting in front of this computer. You need to do something about that. Okay. You listen to your big sister. Otherwise she will kick your ass. She's like this tall, by the way. ladies and gentlemen. And
well, there's steps.
yeah, she says she's just tall, but she had her kid. I'm just like, oh my God, she's serious. I need to do something about this manuscript. So I say, you know what? Let's take the step forward. We don't care about numbers. Don't worry about a fan base. Just start acting on your creativity. Don't let it sit there and dry out like an old prune. Okay. So that's where Journey of the Shadow Volume 1 was released. And then people started to catch on to the idea.
Oh, that thing
right there. It is. Yeah, that thing. That thing looks familiar. Look at that, Journey of the Shadow. And then you can see on my website, there's a lot of positive reviews. People really start to dig the story. And
there's a ton of positive reviews all over Amazon on this book.
I'm absolutely humbled. I have to say that people would spend that much time reading my story and appreciating my ideas to the point that they pre-COVID days when we could do conventions and book signings. Wow, remember that? And people, I know, and people would come to the booth or stand or what have you, and they would say, "Are you going to get this thing animated?" I'm like, "Oh, bro, I'm just a humble writer. We're not there yet." But they said, "Dude, you got to do it. This reads just like an anime. You can see everything that's happening in your head and that sort of stuff." And as a matter of fact,
that's the way a good book is supposed to make you feel.
It's supposed to make you feel like that, bro. You are a writer. A writer's job is to paint the picture with words, right? And the art of that is that you're not overburdening them with verbiage, nor are you leaving too much of a void. And you're trying to, that's the writer's gold, right? You're trying to, the gold pin, I should say. You're trying to strike that balance and paint this movie with words. And some folks would be like, "Oh, and I could do that." Trust me. When you sit in front of a blank word processor, Microsoft Word or what have you, and you're like, "Well, where the hell do I get started?" And then you get stage fright. Well, who says what? Should they say it at this time, or should I move this text up? And then people get caught up in all these conditions about what they should do initially just to start telling the story. Just tell the story. So in terms of Journey of the Shadow, I had these similar fears. I'm like, oh my gosh, did I arrange these chapters right? Here comes the doubt, because the artist is always their worst critic. Oh my gosh, did I do this right? Everyone's going to hate it. What if they don't like this chapter when I put it in this position? Never got any of that feedback at all. And as a matter of fact, the type line and copy line editors for Amazon specifically told me, they said, "We've never read anything like this." I'm like, "Excuse me." I asked again. I'm like, what do you mean? You guys' job is to, edit. You look at sci-fi stuff, okay? And these are the editors for these particular genres, right? Fantasy, sci-fi, wherever the hell Amazon put me in. And they're coming to me like, we've never read anything like this before. They said, "This is unique." I'm like, oh. And I got those emails, and I was sitting in the coffee shop. Remember sitting in the coffee shop? Oh, yeah. And I got those emails in a coffee shop. And I first, of course, it's humbling. But second, you had to tell yourself, oh, man, I think we're onto something here. Well, let's keep going. And that it starts to pour water on the fires of doubt so much. You know what I mean? And so I said, okay, well, if that's the case, let's go ahead and take it a step further. Come whatever may, we got something good here. And I said, okay, well, let's open up some socials. Let's do some social media. Now, for me personally, being a scientist, you have some sort of natural introversion going on, and like you don't want to do a whole lot of social media bullshit, and you've heard all the worst stories. But what I found out was the antithesis. Sure, all that existed, but when I started to make Journey of the Shadow more public, then the response I received earlier started to multiply. Now people are starting to talk about it. And I just said to myself, oh shit, am I ready for this? You think to yourself, oh, now you have human beings who are genuinely interested in this story, in the characters, and which I'll get into in just a minute. But I suppose for this topic, I'm talking about how people have been responding to Journey to Shadow Volume 1. And my reception of it was, well, thank you. What else do you say? Because it's like no one owes you any sort of compliment just because you did a particular thing. Let's be honest. But when you put yourself out there, as I've seen time and again, people have DM'd me over the years. Remember, I released this in 2017. And I think I opened my Instagram in 17 and then a second one in 19 or something like that. But people continuously came to me and said, dude, number one, your motivation just for putting yourself out there is commendable. No, everyone's afraid to show their creativity. And a lot of folks would just come to me just to say that I've inspired them to go after their creative ideas as well. I said, well, shit. Well, there's a trifecta. If it's not a point of fact of any self-fulfillment or whatever, say, oh, I've written this great book. Now look how great this book is. But the better part is that people are now beginning to get inspired as a result of my ideas. Well, shit, we need to keep this going. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a necessity. Now you're driven by that underlying cause that not only, okay, yes, you have a talent for writing something, and sure, you have some ability to communicate that with other people, but the larger component is that people are getting inspired. And my goodness, growing up, when I started with Journey of the Shadow, with this thing, I was like, I wonder if I can inspire other individuals. As inspired as I was just to start nerding out and writing down prototypes and, chapter names and what have you, I said, I wonder if people, if I could bring other people in, not just in following this journey, finger gun tighter, Journey of the Shadow, but involve them in such that they see some revitalization within themselves, that everyone's going through this conveyor belt system in society, most of us anyway. And a lot of our creativity is just being shot in the face, point blank. It's such an affront to the human experience. I don't know where to begin. And that's probably a second podcast that I would, preach about. But as I was going through that, and again, I'll pick you back to making this executive decision to say, okay, you know what, fuck this. I'm tired of, having my mouth stretched wide open, and your so-called superiors for whom, you're doing your job for, you get where I'm coming from, and they shit down your throat for no reason, just because you're there. I'm like, is this worth living for? And the answer, my friends, is no, it is not. All the sacrifices that you make for people who would replace you in 2 days, to what end? Absolutely not. So I said, it's better for me to enrich my own life and thereby enrich the lives of other people, because that's what builds memories. That's what strengthens the human experience, especially now with all these tragedies that we've been seeing, right? So as we're going to segue into Journey of the Shadow, Darkness Falls. It was called Volume 2, okay? But my man Kevin came to me. He was like, this is too good just to have a number associated as a sequel. And I was thinking, well.
Yeah, that's a pet peeve of his.
Yeah, it is.
Everyone's like, don't call it book, but I already named it on Kickstarter, book 2. You know what I mean? Work I have to do now.
You got to undo all of the flyers and the press releases and stuff. Fortunately, we got to rename it before we kicked some stuff out the door.
Oh, cool.
So it saves him some time and some, but I heard his ire about, the numbers and that sort of thing. But I saw the value in what he was saying, that Darkness Falls is an overarching branch of this segment within the 4-book series.
Mhm.
And just for the folks listening at home, and no spoilers, it's the Journey of the Shadow is a story of our boy, our hero, 19-year-old Commander Sumisu, the supernatural warrior of the Sanzai clan in modern day Japan. And they call him the human anomaly. He's still on the fight to stop the resurrection of an ancient evil from resurfacing on Earth. All right. Now, in the midst of all this, he's got his buddy from high school who just so happens to have a hidden power that two extraterrestrial civilizations have been looking for 800 years. That's his high school buddy, Shujin Iwata. And at the same time, you got several, here it comes, you got several extra smoking, freaking hot, scintillating extraterrestrial ladies that are in conflict of affection with Sumisu and Shujin. But they have powers. It's an anime. Somewhere along the line, you're going to find out where the trope was going to lean in, right? Mm-hmm. But what I wanted to do, and this is my segue into Darkness Falls, and specifically speaking on the character development. What I didn't want to do was cut, copy, and paste. Okay, listen, guys, I've seen fan fictions before. I was 13 before, 34 now. I've seen how you have cut, copy, and paste, and I see what people try to do in terms of like fandoms and stuff like that. Listen, if you're trying to make something unique, you don't saturate yourself into ubiquity. That inverse relationship doesn't make sense in your head, because suddenly now everything that spews out of your own creativity is likely not going to be your own. So that's some free advice, kids. So as I was thinking about character development, I said, okay, we could do some frameworks, all right, about setting, cool. We could do some frameworks in terms of structure or personality types, cool. But one thing I saw missing, egregiously missing, was depth of character. The type of depth of character that you would read at a J.R.R. Tolkien, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? The type of depth of characters that if you watched an old Twilight Zone show back in the 50s, it would be 30 minutes, but you would have such rich history in such a short time span that you're absorbed in this world, and it was beautiful writing, absolutely beautiful. And I said, this egregious affront against, dismissing depth of character in history within a multitude of characters, I said, I don't want to follow that practice. Of course, that could be my own personal preference as a writer. Anybody can write what they want. I'm not here to say, well, you shouldn't write this way, and blah, blah, blah. Hey, go for it. But for what I am saying is what was missing, in my observation, was depth of characters in continuity, and you're not just throwing characters out there just to die on the next page. Didn't want to do that. Anime does that a lot. Anime does a whole lot of tropes that just annoy the living shit out of me. So, when I was about maybe, 17 or 18, I just stopped watching animes. Remember, I was watching a lot of the classics back in the day. And so, I was about 17, maybe 18. I was about 18 years old. I just stopped watching it altogether. Because a lot of shows just got on my nerves. I'm just like, we're not done with this plot arc yet. Why are we still milking this? Okay, that's a lot of verbiage. And then I just kept seeing it show after show after show. And I won't name any names, all right, out of respect.
Star Blazer. I will still sit down and watch that show from start to finish.
Yeah, amen. I would still watch it, because how much substance, that's a key word, substance that it gives you. But again, that wasn't the path I wanted to take. So I asked myself, could I write an array of characters who, if you took any one of them, you could write a novel about them, not a pamphlet, not a short novel, not a novella or whatever they want to call it. You could take any one character and write a whole ass 96,000 word novel about them. Can I do that and put them in one story underneath a branching arc with continuity within a book series? Oh, yeah, that takes a lot of thinking. So again, remember what I said earlier, kids, that you don't just slap something up there. It takes some work. That's why I have this thing on. I was writing, matter of fact, Will, before I hopped on the show, I'm currently editing In Darkness Falls. I'm currently editing the manuscript. I'm on chapter 15 of, I think, 22. And there were 6 pages of material that I had wrote for this particular chapter in April of last year. Deleted them because I was like, I don't like. Suddenly, you have a different idea. You have a different inspiration of where the story wants to flow, how you want the characters to interact, and then you see opportunities within the story that you didn't before. This is the beauty of creativity, my friend. That you leave these degrees of freedom open for you to just fucking go for it. So I said, well, why not? We were talking off, guys. We were talking off live stream, and me and Will were just like, people ask you why, and we were like, well, why not, bro? Why not? So I deleted those 6 pages, my friend, Monday, and we're just Tuesday evening, right? And now I'm well over. Oh yeah, we're well over 10,000 words now. About 23, 24 pages of new ideas. It just exploded out of nowhere. And some shit I didn't even know I was going to write. But that's the beauty about writing is you can take a really structured approach and say, okay, I'm going to get my storyboard. I'm going to get my whiteboard and I'm going to draw everything out. Okay, fine. Again, I'm not saying that you can't do that. All I'm saying is that don't put yourself in a little box and not see opportunities to take your characters, your story, your message. It don't drown your storytelling, your ability to tell the story. Don't drown it by putting yourself in the box. By the way, since I'm a musician, I was thinking Alice in Chains. I am man in the box, dot, dot, dot. You know Alice in Chains.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, grunge era. Yeah, 87 through like 94, I think. Rest in peace, Lane Staley, and what's my other boy from Soundgarden?
Chris Cornell.
Chris Cornell. Yeah, but anyway, so I said, okay, we're not taking a compartmentalization approach. We're gonna leave enough degrees of freedom for myself to see where the story goes. When you watch Bob Ross, okay, just think about it. When you watch Bob Ross, sometimes he'll have a blank canvas, sometimes he'll have something up there. And you can watch him, you've probably seen all his seasons, but every time you watch like the same episode, it's magic how this picture just comes alive. You never know where it's going to go, but you trust the artistic process that something of this is being communicated through whatever medium, music, visual art, creativity, writing, or what have you. Trusting that artistic process will leave you more opportunities for ideas than doing the antithesis, which is, acting like you're going to walk into work, okay, and it's a Thursday morning, 8:35, there's a board meeting, and you open up your laptop, and there's an Excel spreadsheet, and everyone's trying to get all the headers right. That's not fun. That's work. For God's sake, this is creativity. We're doing this because we want to give joy to other people, right? I'm not trying to make you work for it. If I wanted to make you work for something, I would write an academic paper. You know what I mean? Which I do. I'm a published author, by the way. Published research, peer-reviewed research on climate change, and I just had to throw that in there. It's just writing something I do, bro.
Why not?
Fucking love it. But when you're in, is that what? Why not? Why not? So the compartmentalization approach, I said, let's not do that. And the beauty of it, of leaving those degrees of freedom open, like I was mentioning earlier, is how the title shifted from volume 2 to Darkness Falls. Then I started to see the story that I was telling, and then I could think of an appropriate title that at least 86% summarized what the reader would encounter in the book. So that being said, volume 3, which was called volume 3, which is written, by the way, volume 3 is now called Vengeance Theorem, and volume 4 is called Sumisu Rising. No spoilers. No spoilers. But just letting the
Just
audience
titles.
know. Yeah, these are just titles. Okay. So expect these books later on. And if you won't miss too much, I would say, if you jump straight into Darkness Falls. But I would highly recommend that you read Volume 1 because it's just you're gonna have so much fun just getting absorbed into the world, and then get into Volume 1 and then get into Darkness Falls. But yeah, the character development. I didn't want to take a short route, a cheap route. I wanted memorable characters. I wanted characters that people would have grudges against. One of my characters is her name is Natalia Artemis. She's a fiery little redhead, but and she's after my man, the main protagonist, Commander Sumisu. And boy, she does some questionable things in Volume 1. Again, no no spoilers. And I had multiple feedback about Natalia from different people and being like, "What's wrong with this lady? What's wrong with her? Why would she do that?" You know what I mean? I'm like, great, I've done my job as an author. I got you emotionally involved. You're welcome. But I love getting that response, and that lets me know that I'm crafting something authentic. I'm crafting something genuine that someone could take a look at and they set the book aside and they're just like, damn it, I can't believe that happened. Yeah, that's my job, bro. Or sis, that's my job. So out of the list of characters, oh my God, there's Princess Suzuka, and she's Imperial Commander. We might as well go down the list while we're here.
Well, in that case, let's bring this back up. And first, let me tell everybody, because I was poking around everything today. If you go to Stone's website and you're just looking down and you're looking at all these reviews, one from the Amazon copy editor, one from some lady who thinks she's an energy mom, and doesn't even like sci-fi but love this book. If you just click on the image of the book, it will take you right to Amazon and you can buy it. It is on, if you have Kindle, it is on sale on Kindle for $9.99 currently, or you can buy my personal favorite, the physical copy, for $13.99.
Thank you, my friend.
Because it's on sale.
He looked, ladies and gentlemen. And as a matter of fact, Will, keep scrolling and you see that featured product. There we go. There you go. You see that one?
Book one.
Oh, yeah, art book number 1, bro. It is an 11 by 8. Well, the printing company call it ultra high premium print, but it's beautiful. My God, it features work from several artists for whom I've worked with commissioned art for several characters in Journey of the Shadow, and it's up there if you go to my website www.journeyshadow.com. But also speaking of
at.
he's here.
There's the op book. You can get Volume 1 mocked down right now on sale for $10. You can get Volume 1 and a signed poster for $20.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Just go. When you go to the website, you go to the future products, you're going to see the ladies on Journey of the Shadow. You're going to see some how do you say, some extracurricular material. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's some safe for work stuff, and maybe there's some not safe for work. No spoilers. But now there's a section on the website, as you see here, meet the characters. I got so bold to say, well, you know what? All these characters have been living in my head for like 2 decades. But for someone who's never heard of the story or whatever, what's an old way that we used to do back when you bought magazines, okay? And back when video games used to have like booklets, instructions for you to read, right? Back then, you had these character profiles, much like in Metal Gear Solid 1 for the PlayStation 1. This is 1998 exoticness, guys. Then
Dude,
you saw
I just found a stack of like this high of PlayStation 1 instruction booklets. I was like, would somebody give me like, $1 for these so I don't have to throw them out?
So just keep them and let's talk about that after the show.
Okay.
But I was, of course, one of my inspirations in writing and developing Journey of the Shadow itself was Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear or Metal Gear Solid. Mm-hmm. And so I said, you know what? In the booklet, I remember, reading it. I said, man, wouldn't it be really fucking cool if my characters were presented in some like a character profile card? And there you go. In the section on my website, meet the characters. You get like height, their name, their race, and there's a nice little catchphrase to it. That's something you can remember them by. And so you'll see Commander Sumisu, Shuji Niwado, Shadow Maiden. No spoilers. I will not tell you her official name on this podcast. You will have to purchase Journey of the Shadow Darkness Falls when it comes out at the successful completion of the Kickstarter. But anyway, Goddess Evelyn, Goddess Rosaria, Princess Suzuka Devonia, she's the Imperial Commander of the entire fucking military on the planet of Devonia. Arlette Salvatierra, I call her Best Girl, but you'll read the story and find out why I call her Best Girl. Tetiana Ordovizia, she's a badass. Gun wielding, she's a go-getter. She gives no fucks. And I'll tell you what's interesting about Tetiana is that a lot of her personality was inspired by, drum roll please, Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit. Hell, listen, not just Limp Bizkit, specifically Significant Other, okay? Not $3 bill, because I was late to that party, but somewhere in 98, okay? Rolling. What? Rolling. That was from Chocolate Starfish and the hot dog flavored water bottle. But somewhere in 1998, I caught on to to new metal. I caught on to the Biscuit, Korn, Deftones, huge Deftones fan. As a matter of fact, if you look here, my friend, this is the Steph Carpenter LTD ESP SC608B. This is a baritone 8-string. So that's 8 strings on this bad girl. And this is his signature guitar with multi-voice pickup coils. There's a lot of music talk going on right now. But, such a fan of Deftones. She's pretty. I named her Nosebleed.
Because you touch my guitar and your nose gonna bleed.
Is that if you touch my guitar, your nose gonna bleed, you blimey cheeky bastard.
Well, there we go.
So, with that being said, Journey of the Shadow itself has a lot of music influences, right? Remember when I said I stopped watching anime around I was like, 17, 18 years old? Well, what was my, what was like an underlying source of inspiration? Well, shit, it was music. My music career was taking off around that time. So, big blues fan, but so much into metal, especially like, what's this genre? There's so many genres. But anyway, bands like Killswitch Engage, Bullet for My Valentine, my God, Slipknot. It just kept going on down the list. And Meshuggah, the Yiddish name that means manic, madman or something. Those crazy guys out of Sweden, for whom some of those band members I know personally. But a lot of music Breaking Benjamin, my God. It just keeps on going down the line. Punk rock bands, a lot of 80s punk, 90s punk. All of that I would have in my head. Sometimes when I come back from work, throw that shit on and then just sit there and just write out a scene based upon what the emotion of the song was talking about, what the meaning of it was. And so a lot of my so-called music inspiration is, comfortably nestled between like late 80s with synthwave, okay, all right, and I love some 80s pop. Don't get me wrong. I will have Aha take on me on repeat all day long. Don't test me with some 80s pop, okay? Depeche Mode, Duran Duran, stop it. The Cure, I can keep on going down the line. So there's all these music influences, right, that go into scene construction. What sort of emotion are you trying to convey? what emotion are you conveying from that particular character? And every character has a different personality trait. So then you would probably throw on a particular album that's representative of that character, like Tatiana and Limp Bizkit. Each and every time. Matter of fact, short story, on my Journey of the Shadow page, the artwork that I have for Tatiana, Mercenary Tatiana, I posted it on my Instagram story, Journey of the Shadow. It's at Journey of the Shadow. And I tagged Fred Durst. And when I tagged Fred Durst, I had a little, flavor text, and I said that, they were a huge influence in her development. And guess what? Oh, Fred Durst, he loved my post. I was like, that's awesome. So it's like, it's a little, how do you say, ode to how inspiration works in multi-dimensions, right? It's not that, oh, I listen to all these bands, I want to play just like this band. Well, I listened to this band and it made me want to write. Or I was writing something and it made me want to play this particular riff. Creativity inspires for creativity. Art inspires art, is my point. And my God, I'm long-winded. But my point is that through the primordial stages of Journey of the Shadow, man, a lot of heavy music influences. And I will say especially Deftones, and particularly Deftones, I think their fifth record, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Saturday Night Wrist. Hold on. Adrenaline, Round the Fur, White Pony, self-titled, and then fifth album, Saturday Night Wrist. Saturday Night Wrist from Deftones has such a dark theme behind it, but there are some elements of beauty that's hidden underneath that darkness. And man, particularly for this book in the series, it beautifully coalesces. So it's almost like wine pairing with some particular food or something. If you were going to read Darkness Falls, I highly recommend that you play Deftones Saturday Night Wrist, and you will understand, why the hell I wrote some things the way I did. But in a nutshell, all of the books from the first to the fourth are heavily inspired, from auditory creativity and from some visual aspects. But again, it's not that some people, they come to me and say, oh, is it just like an anime? I say, well, no, it's not. It's not just like. There are some similarities. I said, but the uniqueness in it is what you wouldn't expect. And to this day, my friend Will, I don't know how to just explicitly describe what Journey of the Shadow is, because I can't say, oh, it's just like this book or it's just like that. It's Journey of the Shadow. Sometimes someone asks, what's Harry Potter? Someone says, well, that's Harry Potter, and they act offended. Like, you don't know what Harry Potter is? Harry Potter is great. It's the best thing ever, right? So I wanted to make Journey of the Shadow of that same caliber. It sounds hubristic or whatever, but I said, if it is indeed my goal as a creator, as a writer, to gift something to someone else of their time, then I should be sincere within myself of creating that and gifting that to someone else and generating that inspiration that they can, yes, you can sit there wherever you are and create something of your own gift. It's there. It's inside of you, my friend. Trust me. You just need a light. Once that light hits you, that's it. It's a wrap. You're going to say, fuck everything else. We're doing this. And I just want to see it.
I ate tacos all day today, so I don't think you want to get a light anywhere near me.
No, come closer. I've got 3 lighters in this drawer.
So we want to say howdy to Pops with Comic Talk with Pops Van Sant.
Hey,
is in the chat, and we got a few people over on Creators Outlet on YouTube watching us as well right now.
Finger guns.
Pew pew. So pew, my big question, since there's so much musical influence in the books, who gets Rickrolled?
I can't say.
Okay.
I can't say. I can't. It's got to happen though, right? In this day and age.
I think somewhere around, chapter 17 in book 4, Although it won't be. It might not be called book 4 because we have actual titles.
Because we have actual titles, but hey, you know what? I can. You know, this is what they told me to say in the government because I used to work DoD for a few years. They're like, you have to say, I can neither confirm nor deny. So I can neither confirm nor deny if they get rickrolled in chapter.
Oh, that just smells like bullshit right there.
Doesn't it smell like bullshit? Oh, I love it. I love it. Just wait for it. It's going to be beautiful. And that's another thing about Journey to the Shadow. There's so many references, pop culture references. There are so many puns, dad jokes, meme references. It's drowning in a lot of comedic elements that you would see naturally come from the characters that you would expect it. And then you get an understanding of how someone from outer fucking space would, how would they take these kinds of jokes, right? How would they react to it? And that sort of, gosh, there's so much dialogue driven stuff. Did I mention Quentin Tarantino as being an inspiration? My God, you watch, where do I start? I was about to say Trailer Park Boys, but that's not the one. Well, Dusk Before Dawn. Let's go there.
Mm-hmm.
Not Warehouse Boys, but gosh, the one where they're all in suits and
oh, that one. I know the one. Mr. Pink, Mr. White, Mr. Black. Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs. Yes, thank you. Haha. See, that's why we're nerds. Yay, we help each other out. The Reservoir Dogs. But the way that he writes his dialogue sequences are so intense, and like in Inglourious Bastards, you have that one scene for about 39 minutes where they're meeting with, one of the members of the Reich, and it got so tense, and I was like, that's the type of writing I want. I want to be able to draw in the reader, and they're just in one fucking place, and they forget that they're in one fucking place, but the dialogue is so intense that you don't even worry about it, that you're so involved in the subject that you're just like, what? All of this happened and they never moved? Yeah, that's the beauty of writing. That's the beauty of directing. Quentin Tarantino mastered that. And I said, somewhere along the line, I said, I got to pick this up. So there's influences in how I construct dialogue scenes and tie that in with the narrative and yada, yada, yada. And it's just so much for folks to sink their teeth into and flip back a couple of pages and say, damn, that really did happen. And I love that reaction. So it's a blast and a half to write it because, like I said, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I say that knowing I've written all 4 books, but when you revise a manuscript, then you can go back and cheat. You're just like, oh, I don't really know what's going to happen. Now, do I? When someone asks you the question. So you take the 5th Amendment, like I do often. I say, well, what about this character? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny. They just throw them some bullshit and they get mad, but they like it anyway. But anyone that's interested in Journey to the Shadow, listen, just hit up journeytothe shadow.com. There's an email there, journeytothe@gmail.com. I'm the guy. I'm the author. So if you're interested, yeah, just hit me up. And more than welcome to chat about it, like I'm chatting with.
And down the bottom of the page, there is this little doodad.
It's a thing about them. Okay, listen. The art of choice. Okay, that was purely by me. I said, if I'm gonna put up something that's gonna grab someone's attention, it grabbed my attention. Thank you. And the artist's name is Kat Chan. I really appreciate Kat Chan for her beautiful render of Goddess Evelyn, which is that lady you see on my screen back here. Can we get a close up on that, Charles? That's running the there you go. And that artwork is from Shikari, and that's in semi-realism format. So if you guys go to my Kickstarter page, you'll be able to get this in like a 22 by 28 poster. It's really it's unfucking believable. It looks better in poster than it does on a QHD screen. It's ridiculous. And now this is to say, kids at home, no, I don't participate in extracurricular activities while the artwork is present. Okay, I'm too busy writing. And that's a bullshit statement if you've ever heard it. But yeah, guys, if you go to my Kickstarter, you'll find semi-realism versions of Goddess Evelyn, Shadow Maiden, Goddess Rosaria, Arlette Salvatore, aka Best Girl. And again, and there's going to be a new character added to the Kickstarter. I'm not going to say who it is, but she has blue skin. And she's a badass gun-wielding lady. And I'm not going to say her name. But pretty soon.
No, I gotta.
Hey, look at that. Look at that.
Oh,
look, I know. She's freaking gorgeous.
There's lots of blue skin.
Yeah, this lots of blue skin there. Ooh, holy smokes! When you read the book,
you're like, oh yeah, she's a gun toting. I go, where? Oh, them. Okay.
Oh, those. That's what you're talking about. Gotcha. Now we're on the same page. Thank you so very much, Tiger. Pew pew.
Like, Shadow Maiden, is that because she casts a shadow when she's standing over you? I don't know.
Was she standing over you? Hey, you know, you never know. She's huge in so many respects. I don't know why. And I'll say this, no spoilers, but for the Shadow Maiden herself, it took me about 4 years to be satisfied with her character construction, if I would say, personality, all these attributes, et cetera. But it took me about 4 years to just be happy within myself to say, out of all these other characters that I've developed, this lady is going to be just breathtaking in so many dimensions. But it's got to be beyond that, because my style is you're going to be captured by their personality, by what they favor, what they dislike, their histories, what brought them to that. You know what I mean? So the Shadow Maiden, again, you're going to learn her name in Darkness Falls. Don't worry about it. But she is, I would say, one of those characters close to my heart, because she went through a whole lot of evolutions before she came to some solidification. And as you can see, if you look at the characters, it says title, Mother of Power, and you see Goddess Evelyn, title, Mother of Souls, and Goddess Rosaria, Mother of Knowledge. That should give you some hint about some sort of relationship, right? It's no spoiler, but it gives you, a direct indication about her role within the story. But how that plays out, you got to read it, buddy. You just got to read it. Okay, every time I talk about the story, I get so fucking excited. But I want that to happen because I want you guys to be excited, because I've been living with this shit for over 20 years, right? And so you might say that, well, does that make you a little bit schizophrenic? No. It's not that you would sit at the computer at 2 o'clock in the morning and, try to act out some scene between multiple characters to see how it flows. No, that's never happened. Lies. It's always happened. But listen, it's just like acting or method acting, right? Everybody, you get into character here. Sometimes you get into character, you might not do it right, okay? But that's not the point. It's almost like voice acting. In voice acting, you have to be in front of the mic and just let it go. Get into that character, like Steve Blum, the voice actor for so many guys, including Spike Spiegel of Cowboy Bebop. He was telling an audience one day, he said, voice acting, reservations and shyness and all this other type of stuff behind the mic, you can't have that when you're voice acting. You're letting loose that character from inside of you. So instead of, a camera placed on you, your voice is projected into that animation, wherever that may be, whether it be a video game or what have you. So I said, well, much the same is within writing. If you're sincere about bringing out the characteristics of a particular, character that you're trying to develop, go for it. The only person that's going to laugh at you is yourself. That's it. Unless you're out in the middle of the field, okay, and then you just want to, I would say you can still go for it. Again, I wouldn't do that personally, but I like to have some space where I'm able to do that and test it, try it, ride it out, and maybe I'll chew on it for like 16 hours or longer, because the creative process has an undetermined amount of time. So give yourself that freedom. But then when you come back to it, you're going to be even more inspired, right? And that's going to help you to become a better creator, whatever the hell you're going to do. This is not just with respect to writing, but whatever you're going to create. Yeah, for me, I like to, throw these little things on, and maybe I'll throw on some, who knows, maybe some 3-6 Mafia, God knows, or I'll put on some, Tribe Called Quest. I love me some old school hip hop. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Put on some Wu-Tang, and I'll just see, where does it take me? Where is this particular scene going to take me? And that's the fun part about writing. And so hopefully you guys go and look at the Kickstarter, you read all of this, literature on journeytoshadow.com. You'll be like, man, this is just fucking cool. The big takeaway from all of this is, I just hope you think it's just cool. I want to make something cool for folks to just get into, talk about, and I'll be like, yeah, emphatically, as if you're standing in the middle of a Comic-Con, because all we have now is the internet. So now that sort of camaraderie that we used to have when you're walking inside, and you have the badge, and someone's wearing a similar shirt, you're just like, bro, you like this? Yeah. And then you have that camaraderie, bringing that back. And I'm hoping that Journey of the Shadow, Darkness Falls adds to that medium and uplifts that environment. And hey, brings people together. That's the whole point. There it is.
Boom.
Boom, baby. Look at all those ladies.
Now brought to you by new technology called 3DD. See, I still got it.
Oh, yeah, you never lost.
I'm the Ralph Malph of podcasts. You.
This is the reason why they wanted to get you out of alcohol college. So you've got it, my friend. You've made it. You've succeeded. This is the Kickstarter for Darkness Falls. Of course, this just says this is me writing the sequel. But as you can see, there's the goddesses of the Novum. It's no mystery that they're sisters. You just don't know the Shadow Maiden's name. But a lot of their story, I think this image collage is a great representation of what you're going to encounter in Darkness Falls as well. Because at first, from Volume 1, you're going to see a lot of their story arc start to take place and coalesce with the main protagonist, who is Commander Sumisu. So I really like this banner because, one, the artwork is absolutely freaking phenomenal. Shout out to my man, my good friend Shikari, for working with me on this artwork. And I really love this art because, number one, it was the first time that some artist out there, and I don't know how I ran into Shikari, by the way, just like I don't know the day, month, or time that I started writing, but I bumped into the guy on the internet and just saw stuff. I was just like, dude, I think you can draw these characters of how they look exactly in my head. I said that to him some way in the email. He said, well, let's give it a shot. He got so excited when he saw the references. And I'm a writer, so I'm just going to write a whole bunch of shit for an artist. And he's just like, wow, they're gorgeous. I'm like, yeah. Like, he's saying they're gorgeous based upon the text. So I'm like, let's get to work. We lost so much sleep getting each one of these ladies right. And from the author's mouth, my friends, this is how they've looked in my head for years. I'm fucking blown away.
How did you get any work done at all?
Well, there's the thing, my friend. It's called
They're not real. They're creations of my imagination, and I turn them on and off at will.
At will. This is the part of your psychosis, okay? You invent your own world. That's the beauty of being crazy. So you have to be, again, I'm going to piggyback a little bit of what I said about being an artist. You have to be a little bit crazy, okay? But you have to learn that crazy and use it to your advantage. Mm-hmm. For example, when you're trying to get the character, if I'm going to be the protagonist, Commander Sumisu, right? Now, if I'm going to be writing a scene with one of these, scintillating ladies, I have to be convincing about it. So a little psychosis part of me has to say, well, I'm staying in character, but then there's the other half of my brain that says, well, how would this phenomenal lady react, right? And back and forth. So you have to have that capability, just like in method acting, to turn something on and turn something off. right? Speaking of being turned on, that's not necessarily the reason why I slapped the banner up there. But hey, if that floats your boat, my friend, let me tell you that we've got safe for work and not safe for work versions available based upon the tier that you choose. But there is not safe for work versions, ladies and gentlemen, and those uh, listening later on down the road. So yeah, in the Kickstarter, you'll be able to get one of these ladies, including First Lieutenant Arlette Salvaterre, drawn in realism by artist Shikari as well, in a 22 by 28 poster in ultra high premium print quality. And I've ordered samples of them, and my friend, I'm gonna hang them up myself. I mean, fuck it. The artist himself, Shikari, he texted me after he said, "Let me know what the artwork looks like after you get it back from the printing company." I said, "Okie dokie." So I got my new phone. It can take macro details or whatever, and I sent it to him. And the artist was just like, "Oh shit, this is phenomenal." He said they capture all the micro details. By the way, guys, the little banner doesn't do the artwork justice. There's like so many micro details involved in this artwork. You'll be talking about it for weeks. But the posters that you'll be able to receive, depending on the tier that you pledge at, my God, you're gonna take a look at it and be like, this somebody paid the printing company, and make sure that you shout out the artist Shikari, because they did one hell of a job in representing my characters in Journey of the Shadow, particularly the Sisters of the Novum. So yeah, if you click on
right
that
now, I've already clicked on this, which is why the little banner right here is just black
it's
and
just
white. It's just there because
I got you.
I've already clicked on it, saved it, and signed up. So there's 28 followers right now, and we want to get it up a lot higher than that. So we need everybody to click on the link for the Kickstarter. It's in the chat. It's also in the show notes, either up above or down below, depending on where you're watching us. And follow this project.
I appreciate it.
Because that way, when it launches, you will get an email. Every time there's an update, you'll get an email.
That's right.
And when stretch goals get added, this gets added, other announcements gets added, you'll be able to follow the entire process the whole way through.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful how Kickstarter set it up. And since I'm in the process of finishing up the manuscript, you're going to be able to get updates about where I am in terms of the manuscript. Notes from the editor or editors, plural, because I think they'll probably be submitted to 2 editors minimum for the manuscript. But you also get updates about like Will was saying, stretch goals, additional items, and no spoilers. We may see some more artwork done by other artists, with their representation of some characters. So as the campaign is launched, keep an eye on your emails, because there's a lot of goodies that will come on later as add-ons. So I appreciate your support so very kindly, and being interested in Journey of the Shadow Darkness Falls, and being interested in the story, being absorbed in the universe, and just wanting to be a part of it, man. It's that brings me a heck of a lot more joy than solving a system of equations. Or you ever do triple integration in college? It's not fun. Never do that in your life, okay? Never do that.
Well, I did, but I couldn't remember their names if you offered me money or something. But
I'll be like, I've got $20. Tell me what this integration symbol means. I don't know. You know what I mean? So,
no, not that. You said triple integration. I thought you were talking about the triplets from New Hampshire.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No, we're far from that, Will. But anyway, folks, I appreciate your support in the meantime. And this literally is my life's work, as you probably deduced from the conversation. It started, like I said, sometime in 2000, and I just, my mom, God rest her soul, she told me, don't quit. She said, don't quit with it. I just said, yes, ma'am. So I said, you know what? if she saw the value in everything that I did, but she witnessed that I never stopped Journey of the Shadow, I said, well, damn it, just in the memory of my mom alone, I'm just going to keep on doing Journey of the Shadow because she wanted me to do it. But she knew better than I did about the value that I was giving to other folks. So rest in peace, Mom. I hope you hope you're proud of me, my dear. But Darkness Falls is, I think, one of the. I'm loving the direction that it's taking. Counter to Volume 1, you get a feel for how Volume 1 flows. Of course, it's like an intro novel. It's the shortest novel of all four, and I think the longest one is the fourth one so far. But you'll get a feel for Darkness Falls, how it flows, how elements and themes are the same. You'll get into the continuity. Should you sign up for the tier to get both volumes 1, Darkness Falls, both of which are going to be signed, by the way. But then you'll get this explosion of history, of this richness, of depth, and that's what I'm discovering with my own characters. Sometimes folks will probably have the attitude that, oh, they know everything about this world. The writer, they know everything about this world. They know everything about this character. What their potential is, what they're going to do next, or how they'll react. And the answer is no. And that's the fun part. I don't want to know everything about this character because it's worth the exploration. You are a Lois and Clark of artistic expression, my friend. And you want to discover a new pathway that shows, an outcrop of unimaginable beauty. You want to be the Lois and Clark that discovers that stream that has, gold just sitting there on the riverbed. You see how I'm building this? You want that for yourself, right? And so I would say that once you get Darkness Falls, to be equally as excited for the next 2 books, because I'm going to be revising them as well. And yeah, of course, they're going to tie into what you've already read, but the direction that they'll go, I can't tell you, but I can say this for sure. It's going to be really fucking exciting. And I can't wait. Oh, while we're on this show, since 2000, I think 18, because it's 2021. Since about 2018, I've had an idea to write a whole second series, another 4 books for Journey of the Shadow. But we got to get through with this one. So I'm kind of impatient with myself in writing because I really want to get to the second series. And I really think people are just going to dig it. But we got to get through this first 4. Not disappointed. It's going to be awesome. But I've got an idea for a second series. So if you guys think that Darkness Falls and the other 2 books after this is going to be the end of Journey of the Shadow, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just I'm going to sound like Papa John's. Stay tuned.
Well, I got to tell you, when you first brought up your notebook that you wrote it, started writing the initial concepts of these stories in, I just wanted to yell out, "Is that a trapper keeper?" And then I had a flashback to watching the Cobra Kai series, where
the Cobra Kai series, yeah,
when Johnny was giving his kid school supplies, he goes, "I couldn't find any trapper keepers." What's that?
What's that? Whoa! Oh my God, I feel old.
And he's in detail describing the trapper keeper I had as a kid, the one with the jet fighter coming off. I'm like,
no way, no way. Hold up, somebody. Okay, stop this bus. Whoever's driving, tell him to stop the fucking bus. That's good, but that's cool.
Had a jet plane on it. It was badass. I'm like, yeah, it was.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, yes, it was. Bring that shit back. That's what I want back, man.
How many people did it take to research what was probably just like the most popular version of that product from the 70s to find out, well, this one sold about 50 more units?
Is that how? I don't know, but okay, I'm just going to say,
know. I'm just
I would say kudos to the team of people that painstakingly got it right. Like they nailed it in terms of, you know,
even
the
better.
nostalgia.
It probably took them months to figure out what a trapper keeper was.
What a trapper keeper was.
Yeah.
Because if you mention trapper keeper to anybody from my generation or further, you know, it probably means something completely different. I don't know. I'm not an expert on internet lingo. Okay. Sometimes I'll go to, what's it, urbandictionary.com. Well, I hear something strange. I'll be like, what the fuck does that mean? Like dead ass, no cap. That's the most recent one I researched. I'm like, what does dead ass, no cap mean? Like, when I looked it up, I couldn't. Let me tell you this, Will. When I looked it up, I couldn't remember the definition. It was so obscure. I don't know. But like I said, if you said trapper keeper to anyone of this generation, millennial, I'll say it. Yes, I'm a millennial. And you know, and on further, they probably think it's something lewd, you know what I mean, or dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I'm just going to leave that there. But yeah, shout out to the writers and creators of Cobra Kai for just getting it right.
I've been watched, you know, all the seasons of that so far, like probably like a dozen times.
Shamelessly, but it's good literature, and I think we needed Cobra Kai because it just expresses great writing. The effort that they put into constructing the show and building the world building is so important. But I just want to say kudos to them because part of, I would say, the rewards, going back to the Kickstarter, part of the rewards that you're going to receive are a lot of physical rewards, and most of them are going to be posters. You know, coming from, you know, I would say a little bit late in my generation, where we still had movies like Jurassic Park, you know, come out, and you had posters. You had movie posters littering your wall. We had, you know, Terminator 2 Judgment Day posters. Whatever happened to that? That you were laying in your bed and you had that poster laying up on your ceiling, tacked to your ceiling. You're just like, man, that movie is so fucking cool. And every time you got home from school and you just walked into your room, you saw your room was littered with all these posters of musicians, Van Halen, Rest in Peace, or Kiss or something. That sort of involvement, you know what I mean? That's the sort of reward system that I designed in Journey of the Shadow to get folks absorbed, to get them involved and keep them involved in exploring Journey of the Shadow and wanting to know more. You know, months, years after they've, you know, read the literature, and they just want to, you just want to know more about it, and that's what made those movies and those times memorable. You know what I mean? That's what I loved about it, and I said, well, hey, why can't I give that? That's another part of sharing, the sharing process. Sharing is caring. Remember what Barney said, motherfuckers. But sharing that sort of aspect, I don't know. I had Samuel L. Jackson moment. Forgive me, but that was part of the aspect of me wanting to say, what is it that I'm giving back in terms of this story that I'm writing and this world that I'm building, but not so much insofar as the manuscript itself, but the rewards are not just, you know, arbitrary, oh, let's just throw this at them, but they have meaning. You know what I mean? That everything that you'll get has some particular attachment to the story. And when you look at it, either you read, you know, after you've read the book, and months later on down the road, you'll take a look at one of these posters. It's just like, man, that really did happen. You know, but it'll work just like a movie. It's supposed to, just like you said. When you read a book and it looks like all these images are in your head, and you've done your job. But an extension of that is, you know, all these, I call them accessories, that allow you to stay in that world. And that's a place where you can escape some bullshit. You know what I mean? I use Journey to the Shadow throughout the years as a world of escape. Who doesn't? You probably hear this a lot from a lot of creators. But for me in particular, I used it for, man, so many times of like tragedy or hardship or adversity. And as a creator, you find ways to take that and implement that artistically into whatever it is that you're trying to create. So specifically, I'll, you know, speak about Darkness Falls. In Darkness Falls, you're going to see some of that translated into the characters. Again, no spoilers, but you'll see these ups and downs. You'll see some resolutions of problems. You'll see these arcs branching. Maybe you'll see some of them closing. It's beautiful. It's like a river with many tributaries. You just follow it, my friend. And just, you know, hop on that fucking boat and just ride the river of Journey of the Shadow. Yeah. I like that. I'm going to slap that on a t-shirt.
I'm going to put that in there. Yeah. So I have to ask, because we want everybody to hit the Kickstarter link and jump over to Kickstarter and just click. All you have to do right now is click that one button. It'll let you log into your if you've never logged into Kickstarter before. It'll take you like 30 seconds to quickly create an account, and then it'll send you a first time email and let you know that you've registered for this project and that you'll find out everything via email for what's going on. And we want as many people to go there as possible, so they're just sitting on the edge of their seats waiting for this book to drop.
Yeah,
because
it's
there's 2 more after this one, and then there's 4 more.
Right here.
What in the hell?
Here, and what the fuck?
What the fuck? Oh my God! Big Bird swore.
Mom, Big Bird swearing. Is this the right show?
I downloaded the wrong book. I downloaded the wrong book.
Mom, I got to refund you $10. But yeah, guys, just notify me, and it's a short sign up process. And once the project launches, it'll be launching soon. I think March the 1st, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
You'll get all the notifications, and I can't wait, man. This is the first endeavor that I've taken in terms of hosting Journey of the Shadow on Kickstarter. So I'm awful excited. I know there's everyone has their doubts about it, just like I had my doubts about even starting to write it. Right. Now, here I am 20-something odd years later. I'm just like, you know what? Let's fucking go for it. I think people will love it. I think people will attach to the story. Probably their own little cult. I may have a cult following and not know it, okay? But if
from all the reviews on Amazon, I'm pretty sure you do.
Well, thank you. We love cults, don't we? Star Trek. Star Trek Next Generation.
The Cult of Q.
Oh, we know about those guys way too much now, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, the Kickstarter is launching soon. I'm awful excited about it, and I appreciate everyone's support. And there's, like I said, there's different tiers for everybody, and it's gonna just be magic when I get the book in my hand. I'll be like, wow, I'm just gonna post like it's your child. It's your brainchild, literally, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something that was just birthed of your own thoughts. How crazy is that, man? That you birth something out of your own thoughts of hundreds of thousands of words, and you're going to share that with someone else and replicate an experience that you created, and sharing that with multiple people in the absence of STDs, my friend. Okay. Just because it's COVID doesn't mean you can contract super gonorrhea. All right. This is a message from the ad. It's just saying. All right. Now, that's Kickstarter. I can't wait to get that book in my hand. It'll probably be undescribable because, when I first got volume 1 and they give you the what they call the test manuscript or whatever, the test booklet, and I was just like, wow, we did it. And giving that moment to other people, you can't put a price on that.
No,
so I would say
after all that hard work, and then you get your special like first edition in your hand of your own work.
It's remarkable. So I want other people to have that. So like I said, thanks again. And if you want to know, we've been saying it through the whole show. If you want to know more information, journeyoftheshadow.com. You can look at my socials. It's Journey of the Shadow everywhere, on Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to try it before you buy it type thing, the first chapter of Darkness Falls is available for free. You can go to my website, or you can, once the Kickstarter launches, you can download it there. Then you can read the first chapter for absolutely free. And it's pretty kick-ass because no spoilers, but there's a lot of ass kicking in there, and it's beautiful. I love it. And I love the ladies. I love the ladies of Journey of the Shadow. They're just so fucking special.
Bow chicky wow wow.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Hey, let's take a look at that trailer one more time.
Okay.
The goddesses are waiting for you.
Oh, they sure are. All three of them, buddy. Oh my god. It's beautiful. I love that too.
For coming on and chit-chatting away with us tonight and getting into this project, which sounds amazing. And after stalking your website all day, looking at art,
research.
We're
looking at research.
I was.
Oh,
I've been looking at research like that since I was 16. Okay, that's a lie. 11.
11.
Okay, 7. Anyhow, sign up for this.
Oh.
Let's get some more followers up on the Kickstarter page. It is going to be a live campaign a week from yesterday.
Yeah, a week from yesterday. It'll be live. So we're doing some pushing on socials, the usual thing, and getting the word out, yada yada yada. But I think once the Kickstarter launches and people will see it and they'll see the prelude of the story and they'll say, well, where in the fuck did this come from? I want someone to ask themselves that question. And why haven't I seen this before? Those two questions. I want people, when they see it, to ask themselves that question and then investigate. And then, the answer will come to you, my friend.
And then they'll find out it's been sitting in the pages of your traffic keeper for 20 years, and you got it into print, and you sat down and you're just cranking out book after book now. So
yeah, and it's a blessing. As a matter of fact, my friend, not a lot of folks have an opportunity to do this, so I consider myself fortunate to have an opportunity to sit down, have an opportunity, and create ideas and give it to other people. And like I said, share these experiences. So this is my life's work, and I appreciate any and all support. And on behalf of myself and my sister, who almost kicked my ass, that told me to print the first book, appreciate you guys. And we're gonna keep rocking and rolling for Journey of the Shadow. You damn straight.
Go check out the project for yourself. Like I said, all the links are in the chat. They're also in the show notes, either up above or down below, depending on where you're watching us, whether it's Facebook hell or my YouTube channel. And don't forget, if you've been listening to this on ageofradio.org, you can go to the Creators Outlet YouTube channel and you can check out what we've been looking for and at, or you can just go to the website, journeyoftheshadow.com.
Journeyoftheshadow.com. In a world.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to see this come to fruition with another edition. And until next time, this is Will for Outright Geekery. And you can find me at JokerFan on Twitter and JokerFan1969 on Instagram. Until next time, mark this project down, get on this, and if you didn't read the first book, you can read the first chapter for free on his website, or when it launches next Monday, you can read the first chapter. You can download it right there to check it out for yourself. And if it's something that excites you, like it's been exciting us and all the hundreds of people that have written wondrous reviews on Amazon for the first chapter of this book, get in on this, and you can actually get both books from the Kickstarter when it launches signed and Scrumdiddlyush's posters too.
Oh my God, they're amazing. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. They're fucking amazing.
They're not bad. They're just drawn that way.
They're just drawn that way.